Hello and welcome to another edition of Fangirl Thursday. I am your host, Lynn Shaw. I am super excited to be with you guys this week. We have something very special in store for everyone. We have not just one, but two guests with us tonight. We have the amazingly talented Melanie Gilbert and her equally fantastic twin sister, so don't be surprised and think you're seeing doubles, Heather Karn with us again tonight as well. Super excited to have both of them join me. As always, you can pop over to the blog. There is a link over in the comments section for twogirlsinabook.com/blog. You can take a look at everything that we're going to be talking about tonight, as well as the pre-order link for the book. Quick note, I have been telling you guys since I read the arc, I think a week or so ago, that the book was coming out on September 25th, and I don't know where I got that from because the book is coming out on September 29th. But you can go ahead and head over to Amazon and click that little pre-order button, and you'll get it downloaded to you the 29th. So without further ado, let's have the lovely ladies pop in here and join us. Hello.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have both of you here. It's been quite a while since I've had either of you on to talk about anything. I have several books that I have to read to catch up for you, Heather. I have been working on Melanie's. I plowed through and went through, I think, 4 books in like a week or week and a half, but thankfully a few of them were novellas, so it didn't take me quite as long. Definitely going to have you, Melanie, back on to talk about those when the paperback comes out and they all get put into one, because that was a fantastic story. And I've got to catch up on your stuff, Heather, so I can have you back on to talk about some more things. But let's dive right in to this amazing upcoming book from you guys. And it's called Dark of Night. Tell everybody what the book is about.
All right. So the book is about Henley, who is half witch, half vampire. The witches don't want anything to do with her because she's part vampire, and the vampires don't want much to do with her because she's part witch and not good enough, except to use her in whatever way they want. Yes. So she works for, she got kicked out of her witch coven, didn't have a choice but to end up working for Amos, who is a loan shark of a vampire and stuff. And so she's his, he didn't pay, go get him person and stuff, or any job that he needs done, go get him. And then he's got this big job for her, and she has to take one of the other clan elders with her, and sparks fly. So yes,
we do like sparks.
We do. They fly, metaphorically and literally.
Yes, they do.
Yes. So it's got your witch, it's got your vampire, it's got your snark and your angst and, enemies to lovers. It got also like shifters and werewolves and a bunch of different stuff. So it's a pretty big twist.
And this is the first book in an upcoming series for you guys?
Yes, it wasn't supposed to be a series. It was supposed to lovely stand by itself. It wasn't supposed to. And then our beta readers were like, please give us more. And now our readers are like, please give us more.
Yes,
and
definitely.
We had an idea of who we wanted to go next. And then that isn't panning out yet. It's coming. But someone else is first.
I have actually read an early copy of this. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Here's a little snippet from my review. This is an action-packed, edge-of-your-seat, twist that you don't see coming paranormal romance from the dynamic duo of Heather Karn and Melanie Gilbert, and I can't wait for more. I started this book shortly before midnight and swiped the last page around 3 a.m. in the morning. I love the toughest nails, smart mouth, witty main character, and the heat between her and Alex is on fire. And then there's that twist.
I just tell you, when when we wrote the twist, Heather and I had to stop writing that night and take a moment to adjust to it, because it was, even for us, like it hit us at the same time, and we're like, we don't know how to cope with this. Our poor readers. Yeah, it just sort of hit, and we're like, nope, we're done. We're done right now until this is smoothed over. We'll sleep on it. And yeah.
How did the two of you co-write this? Did one of you focus on one character and one on the other? Did you just swap chapters back and forth? How'd you do it?
We swap paragraphs.
Ah.
So we literally write at the beginning of the books. This is like our third attempt at a book together. The first one we've actually finished because we had a deadline. But
there are reasons for the other ones.
there are, yes. But we literally do like every other paragraph.
Mhm.
And then once you get further into the book, you can get away with multiple paragraphs if you need your flow to keep going and stuff. But literally it's like your messenger looks like it's your turn. You're up. Tag.
That was
Tag.
going to be my next question. Since you guys now live near one another, were you getting together to do all this writing, or were you literally like on the phone or messaging? It's your turn. Here's your, what you got, and
Both. Yes. After work, I'd come over and most of the time, and we'd go back and forth. Mel would sit at her desk and I'd sit across the room at a table. And so we would be able to ask each other questions if something came up. Like Mel had this habit of throwing characters in, and I say, okay, so who is this? I don't know. I'm like, you can make it up, but she thought I had, and I had nothing. Yeah. So I'm like, here's this character, please create it for me. Yeah. So I'm tired of naming them. So we're, it's a good thing we were in the same room for some of that. But the one, we were definitely not in the same room. I was at my apartment. She was at hers house. And yeah, so then it becomes, messenger back and forth, and it clogs up the whole thing. But yeah, it's about every other paragraph. And it's funny because our writing is so similar. When we go back through, there's sometimes where it's like, okay, well, who actually did write that paragraph? Because neither one of us can tell which one of us wrote it or remember writing it. Right. And it's like, I can't understand what this section was saying. Did I write this? Did Heather write this? Who was having the off day? And then when
if I had read this before reading Melanie's last 3 books, that novella series that you have, if I had read this before reading that, I would have thought that Heather wrote a lot more of this particular book than you did. And to explain that to those that are listening, Heather has heat in her books. They're still clean, but there's heat. There's swoon-worthy men, and there's a lot of heat. Melanie is very chaste in hers normally. And a lot of times it's YA stuff. So it's more just some smooching and then a fade to black. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have loved every one of them. However, in the other series that I read from Melanie that we are going to talk about, we're going to have her back to talk about that one. I was blown away by the heat factor. I mean, just so, yeah, having read those and then going into this one, it made it much harder to tell who wrote what. There were a few times when I could say definitively, because I've read so much of Melanie's work, this came from Melanie. This sounds like Melanie. But for the most part, it really did flow to the point where I didn't know who had written what. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to the writing every other paragraph, because then your style doesn't really overtake the other one. And then we both go through several times and, look it over, make sure everything sounds good. So by the end, it's, not really a one or the other. And it's, well, some parts there are, but a lot of times it ends up being so smooth you don't even.
It definitely sounds more like one voice instead of two. Definitely. And I like that aspect of it a lot.
It was interesting writing this one. like you said, it's different from my other stuff. Heather's characters always have a lot of snark and stuff. She has some very, not opinionated, but her characters have some attitude. Her girls do, and my characters don't. And not until you get to the recent series and stuff. But that series was a whole different level for me. But this book was different because my main character had snark, and I'm like, I'm learning this. So if you want to know who did the hot dog joke, that was her.
Oh, that was
that it just came out.
Since you mentioned, Melanie, a few moments ago about bringing up random characters to add into the story, it makes it sound like you maybe flew by the seat of your pants more with this story than what you normally do, because I know from experience you like to plot and you like to know a lot of detail, and it sounds like it was kind of reversed this time and you just sort of threw stuff in there.
Okay, so long story short, this was not the original book that Heather and I were supposed to write. Heather and I were supposed to write a cozy mystery with a bakery and different stuff. Anyway, last minute, a week before the cover reveal, like less than a week, we have no cover. The cover designer has ghosted us. We can't get our cover. And we've been trying to get it for a month or more. And so our lovely designer who did this, we're like, we are so sorry. It was a pre-made, and we're like, we could really use like some help here. Like, this is the cover we've decided to do for our next book, and we know it's last minute, but can you please, help us out?
Can you just change the title on this and send it to us?
Right. We just like, we named it, like, we looked at the cover and we're like, okay, so what are we going to name this book? Because
we haven't started writing it yet.
It's like literally,
oh my gosh,
like it was. So we put it out with the publisher, and the Friday before they send out the cover and the blurb and stuff and all that jazz. So it's like the day before, and we're scrambling to write as many chapters as we can. I think we got 2 chapters, so we could write a blurb. Because we had no idea, like, this whole project kind of like just threw itself together. So we had this blurb that we now have to work with. And we did change it a little bit in the end, but not very much. And so Heather did have to plot a little bit, and I did fly by the seat of my pants a little bit, but we always knew where we were going, like what the next thing was.
We pantsed most of it because I think I finally convinced her I can't plot. I revolt. The moment that comes in, she starts asking questions further on. I'm like, nope, we're not there yet.
Yes. So it was a lot of back and forth, like decisions. Like, we didn't actually know anything of the end and the twist or nothing until it was like upon us.
Yeah, because we had other things planned for it, and then suddenly it's, twist, and we're like, ooh, this is good. Throw the rest out. We don't care.
Fun. I like that. Melanie, that's good for her to kind of let loose and let it flow a little bit.
The novella series, Gabe's series, I pantsed that one. Believe it or not, I pantsed it.
I thought that series was your best work.
Yes, I knew basic stuff of what should happen, but I pantsed that thing, and she should be a pantser forever.
I know.
It depends. I'm writing a book right now that I am not pantsing. I am outlining, but I need the speed with it. Outlining, I get more speed behind the writing because I know where I'm going. It depends on the project. Like, I found that pantsing with Heather was easier because I actually didn't know what was going to happen at the end of the next paragraph. So I just, she's writing and I'm like, well, let's see what happens this time. It's my turn. What turn did we take?
And that was kind of the fun part, is because you didn't know what the other person was going to write. So it was like half reading a story while you're writing it. And we actually found that we write a lot faster together than we do on our own stuff separately.
Very interesting.
It's really interesting.
Like, you think writing every other paragraph would be the slowest thing on the planet, but actually we can punch out those words in no time. It's kind of interesting.
I am such a type A personality. I don't know if I could do an every other paragraph like that, because I'm always kind of, if I'm sitting down and I'm writing and I'm in the zone, then I'm thinking the next step ahead. And so not being able to do that next step and hand it over to somebody else, it sounds interesting, but I don't know if I could do that.
It took it didn't really take too much to get used to it. I tried to convince Heather to write a book with me for years, guys, like years, no joke. And so finally I'm like, okay, Heather, we're just going to try doing this, like every other paragraph thing, just for the fun of it. Like, we both need some fun and things. Let's give it a try. And we found that we both liked it. So that's how the every other paragraph thing came about, was just me trying to find a single way to get Heather to write a book with me. I was desperate.
I just wasn't in the mindset for it yet.
We've got to pause for just a second so we can give a shout out and a hello to some of the people that have joined us this evening. We have Mary Eager with us today. We have Crystal Roberts. We have author Amy Hale with us. We also have Kim Barker with us as well. They all say hello. Hello, ladies. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Mary agrees with the branching out. Apparently she's been reading some of the same stuff I have. There we go. And definitely feels like you have been branching out. And she is also super excited to read this new book from you guys. She's expecting baby number 2 next month, so she's going to have to hurry up and get on there so she can get that done, get that out of the way. And yeah, she agrees. She's OCD. She would have a hard time kind of handing it off back and forth like that. So I'm glad I'm not the only one. Oh, we have some additional people in with us over with Crystal. Hello, Brianna. Hello, Kat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I am keeping a list of everybody that is popping in tonight to make sure that Melanie and Heather can pick their winner for tonight. Remember, guys, as long as you participate tonight, you comment, post questions, that kind of thing, you will be entered to win a ARC copy of this particular book. And trust me, guys, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I know you had said that you had read it in one sitting, and we just got a comment from another early reader who had done the same thing, sat down and read through it. And Heather and I are like, well, we knew it was good because we liked it, but apparently we're not alone.
Yeah, apparently she stopped mid book 6 in a series to read it. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, I started it on a Saturday. I think it was a Saturday night, and I actually messaged Melanie at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm like, I really hope you're sleeping, but I read it. It was fantastic. I will have a review for you later today.
It did not wake me up. I was out.
Thank you for popping in and joining us as well, Colleen. We appreciate having you here.
It's great to see everybody.
Yeah, we are actually
doing like seeing new
shared world with Colleen later. So shout out for that. We're doing a shared world with Colleen and a few other authors later this year. So there you go, Colleen, shouting it out. Keepers of Knowledge, Division of Sciences. There we go. Ooh, be on the lookout for that.
Do you have a rough date or anything on that yet?
I think it's November, December, January time. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get more settled dates later about that. So
now you both have an upcoming release in book 2 of it's The Diner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us anything about what you're doing for that?
I'll go first. Okay. So it is year 2 for The Diner, and year 1 I did witches and black cats, and year 2 I'm doing druids and black cats. it's actually really fun. He's a healer. And
Mhm.
so all the supernatural creatures come to him when they have a problem. And so there ends up being this mysterious slime sludge stuff in the forest that, they want to, the nymphs want him to help heal and figure out. And meanwhile, he finds this little abandoned, abused, little teeny tiny cat, Nightshade. And he helps her, heals her, and she becomes his familiar. And it's just fun to watch their little, because he's divorced and his wife was awful, and just to see them heal together and come together as a pair while they try and heal the rest of the forest and other creatures was just so much fun to write. And of course it has the diner, which is the central part. So I'll back up a little bit. The central part of the diner is actually a supernatural diner where creatures can go, and then there's a club as well. And so every book in the diner, shared world anthology, takes place, they at least have to show up at the diner or the club a couple times. And it's just fun because we get to pass each other's characters or talk to them. And yeah.
So yeah, it's the second year for the diner. Everybody has their own diner. There are many different diners in the world. So you get to kind of see a few different versions of the diner. And so my story, I'm terrible. And Heather, I know, shakes her head every year. I say it's the second year. Every time I change my story about a dozen times before I actually get to start writing it. And then I swore I was done, and I wrote 45,000 words and was halfway through. And it was getting to be time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this to my beta readers. And I gave it to the beta readers, and Heather read it. And they're like, this is confusing, and we don't know how you're going to fix this without having a complete and total rewrite of at least the beginning and things. And so I'm like,
that was a little harsh.
Well, they said it nicer. Okay. One of them said it nicer. That one was like, I think you've got a problem. And so basically, it wasn't like it was a surprise. That's why I sent it off early, because I wasn't sure what was going on. Anyway, so I restarted my book, and now I have Hellhounds and Reapers, which I am way, way excited for. The other one was Dragons, which was still really exciting and stuff, but it was the fifth time I'd tried a variation on that plot, and I think I might have to throw in the towel on that one. But anyway, so Reapers and Hellhounds are what you've got coming from me. And I've been typing it for 3 days, and I've got 25,000 words. Yes, halfway through, and it'll be done and stuff. But yeah, so I'm a horrible, horrible, horrible person. Heather hates me for what I did in this book. But
oh, Lynn, you should dislike her. She is awful.
I did something really bad, but you're gonna have to read the book to figure out what I did. And I apologize now, but I'm not really like, it was for the plot.
It's really
that makes
good.
me think somebody important is gonna die.
It's really good, but it makes you want to say that. It makes you want to slap her.
So it is not like it's not a Stacey Rourke, the whole cast. You love them and then they're gone.
I find that statement hilarious because, to my knowledge, you haven't read that particular book by her. Maybe you have, but I don't think you have.
I have not. I have heard
because so many of us have come forward and talked about that particular book.
You and Jenny
where
both.
You read the first chapter and you meet an entire crew from this ship, and you're like, wow, that's so many people to keep up with. And then chapter 1 ends, and every single person you met is dead, and you're like, what just happened here?
Yeah. Yes. So it's not Stacey Rourke level.
But you know how many times I've told her I hated her?
So
More
anyway,
than once.
anyway, that's my story, guys. I apologize, but the plot called for it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's reapers.
I would never be that cruel.
There are
Oh.
reapers in this book.
Oh man.
At least my character heals.
That's
So,
interesting.
Yeah,
that comes out end of October.
actually it's really confusing, but kind of a good thing to remember. So Dark of the Night comes out September 29th. The Diner 2 comes out October 29th.
Awesome. Yes, I've been saying since I reviewed the book, and I've been posting a lot about it on Instagram, and I keep saying that the book's coming out on September 25th. Please ignore that. The book is coming out on September 29th. I don't know where I got the 25th from.
I think someone is releasing on the 25th. I can't remember who, but there is a book coming out on the 25th.
Just not this one.
Just not this one.
But that's okay. You guys can go ahead and pre-order it. I know you guys are going to enjoy it. I did. I loved it.
It was so fun to write. I tell you, it was, for having to write it like super quickly, I'm really glad that we enjoyed it.
Mhm.
But, it was really good. The characters, by the time we got to the end, though, I'm like, we're kind of running out of, we didn't have a very big cast of characters.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out, what's going on, who's doing what, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding. But because more people were supposed to show up, but it was fun. And Alex, oh, he was fun.
And guys, there is a bonus scene at the end. You do get to
Yes, I forgot about that. There is.
yeah, we did get asked for more than one. You can thank our beta readers who did request bonus scenes. We didn't get to writing more, but you'll get more, whether on the website or blog or something. I don't know. You'll get more because we want to write more. Just we didn't get there because the two different projects we're also working on. So, but yeah, you get to see Alex's point of view from when they meet in the bonus scene. So
I enjoyed that. So since you literally co-wrote everything about this book together, for each of you, who was your favorite character to kind of voice?
she asked the hard questions. I know. It's like you voiced every single one of them. Manuel is her trainer, and he was fun. So he's a vampire, and he trains Henley to fight. So she gets to Amos, doesn't know anything, and watching them develop their whatever kind of thing they had going on throughout the book and stuff was really fun to kind of write and figure out. Like when he popped up, it was like, well, what's his like relationship with her, and how did they act and stuff, and so that's probably the one that took me the longest to figure out. I don't know about you, just like what's his role and stuff. And he knows her, so it's like when her snark comes out and she's wanting to go head to head and toe to toe with Alex, and he's like, what are you doing? He says one line like, what is it? It's something, was it about a coffin or her eulogy or something? He's like, I'm just going to go get that ready for you.
Because she can't. She was my favorite, I think. I think it was because of her snark.
Yes.
I just like the snark, and like Manuel, he knew she couldn't shut her mouth. And even she says, tells Alex at one point, you got to give me more than 5 minutes warning to keep my mouth shut.
Yes,
I
really did. I really did like writing her because she was way different than, like we said, my characters usually are. And so that was really fun to
I just
write.
like that I could say, but she could say anything. Like it was just whatever random thing was in your head, it just came out of her mouth.
It's true too. She didn't have a filter.
No.
It should and shouldn't be said.
And not only what she
her situation.
said, yeah, but what she did. You know, there was no like, should I do this? Should I not? No, it was just instant instinct go.
Yes, definitely.
And I got into trouble more than once.
So when you get in a writing slump, I mean, we all know those happen from time to time. What do you do to pull yourself out?
Good question.
Lately, I've had to push through it and just think October's coming, October's coming, October's coming. Because like that's what like that's my due date for these other couple things. I like October 1st. I want them done. But usually I will just bring up a document and start writing something that no one else is ever going to see and will not see the light of day. Yeah, especially if I've got a plot or some book that's in my head and won't stop screaming and I just need a moment. Just bring up a different Word doc and just spill the words. Have fun writing. Remember that it's not all like deadlines and getting it done. It's fun.
And I crochet. Mostly cats.
Yes, she does. Oh, grab. Oh, my kitty's over there.
Oh, do we get to see one?
Yes.
Oh, how cute.
It's got a little tail.
How adorable is that?
And she crocheted this for me.
Is that candy corn?
It is a candy corn.
Candy corn.
So when Heather gets in slumps and doesn't know what to do, or she's having plot problems or whatever, Heather crochets, and we won't go into bins and bins and bins of yarn that she's got, and how many sets of crochet hooks she's got, because oh my goodness, this one's glitter.
Yeah, and I've made a candy corn themed cat. They come in random different colors.
Yeah, so her candy corn cat is like orange down here, and then
it's yellow,
orange, and white and stuff, and so it's just
yeah.
Well,
When I have
Mary is a fan of the candy corn too. I am not, but the little candy corn crocheted character was very cute. I did like that.
I don't get
guys, go ahead and get any questions that you have about this book or anything else that you've read from either of these authors. Get them posted over in the comments, and we will get them answered for you tonight as well. Let's see. We talked about that. Okay. If you could write a book with any other author who's currently alive, who would you pick and why?
Oh gosh. That's I would pick Casey Bond.
She is a good one.
I love her stuff.
And she's a writing machine. Oh my gosh. She is a writing machine.
She is. I need all the tricks. Like I need to like know it all and be voiced to like this, like, or, I don't know. She writes amazing stuff, and
her covers and everything are just
they're epic and
as well.
I love them. Yes.
Audible had a sale a few weeks ago or a month or so back, and a lot of her books that were on there were on sale for $5. So I loaded up like 4 or 5 of her newer releases. And so I've just got to find the time to sit down and start listening. But yes, I love her covers. Her audiobook, her narrators are usually very good. And she's just a writing machine.
Yes, I was in a huge writing slump last year. Nightmare of the end of the year and stuff, and Things That Should Stay Buried came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that really like picked me up and got me going and stuff. And I have a book coming out next year that I started during that time, and it was definitely thanks to Casey's book that got me going and stuff again. So I love her stuff.
Mine would probably be Annette Marie, because I just love how she built her world. It's there's like she's working on the 4th series built within the world.
Have you read any of her stuff?
Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
She's got especially 3. She's got 3 series that interline with the same events. But it's all coming from different. There's so many different factors playing into these events, and they all just seamlessly come together. And it's honestly the most amazing thing.
Yeah,
You have to read it in the reading order.
Yeah, that's on her website.
But it all 3 series just fit seamlessly into one another, and you're just like, how?
It's because it's all different characters. Like, there are completely different characters, and you see these things happening, and you're like, oh, well, that is pretty awesome. Like, I wish I had your brain, but that would probably require you to plot.
That is amazing branding and marketing on an author's, point. Because the only author that I can think of off the top of my head that does that I've actually read, and I'm sure there's plenty more out there to do this, but April Baker has done that. She has multiple series, and they all revolve around the same group of characters at different ages, different stages of their life. But you've got to start at the very beginning and then work your way down. And of course, they all build on top of the one before it. And I'm like, I've got like 20 books on my shelf, and I've read like 5 of them. And I'm like, seriously, woman, quit writing about these people so I can catch up.
I know. When I started reading Annette Marie's, I'm like, I started in the wrong spot, but I read the first 2, and of one series I liked, and she stops you right there, and she said, spoiler alert, go back and start reading this series, and you have to get to this book first, which is book 4 in that series. Otherwise, you ruin a big old plot, big old spoiler for the 3rd book in this other one, because these events are all happening simultaneously. And so you start reading through, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So yes, that would be mine.
All right, we had a couple of questions pop in, so let's get those up. Crystal wants to know, what inspires your characters?
Pinterest. I don't know. That's how I found, like, okay, that's an idea for what I like when I wrote Gabe's first book. Like, it was an idea I found off Pinterest. I mean, I don't know, like, the characters just kind of develop themselves, like, in my opinion. Like, at first I have a hard time. I rewrite a lot, especially at the beginning. I rewrite a lot, and it's always me just trying to figure my character out and why they would do something and not do something, and not like, I don't know. I have to figure them out, and that's like, I rewrite the first chapter like 5 times.
Except for this one.
I rewrote it twice.
No. This one.
Oh, this one. Yeah, no, this one we didn't rewrite at all. This one, she just kind of plopped her butt in there and said, hi, I'm here.
Yeah.
I just like, okay. She had her snark and showed up with it, and
it was seamless. I mean, you get the snark on the first page. And then everyone else just sort of fell into how they were supposed to be.
I mean, it helped too that we like kind of discussed a few people, like when we would bring people in, like what's their role and what, we discussed kind of things with them. But most of the time we just kind of meshed it. I don't know. Yeah. Amos was always this cocky, know-it-all vampire, and yeah.
This one's for Heather. Do you ever crochet your characters?
Nightshade. Yeah, Nightshade's my, black cat this year, and actually the first cat I made is not a glittered, but she is black. And when I got the first half of my diner book, which is Druid's Healing Heart, written, and then it stalled, and I had a hard time. It was around the time that I had to put my dog down, And so that was a very difficult time. And so as she was scrolling through and I found a black cat pattern, it's like, I want to try that. You know, it's nightshade. I want nightshade. You know, some
Mhm.
like Casey Bond always gets something for her, you know, book and sets it, you know, by
Mhm.
her. And I was like, I want to do that. And so I decided I was going to make nightshade. Otherwise, no, I have not made any other characters. I'm not quite that talented because they're all human and whatnot. I want to make a couple. I'm attempting a fennec fox because that's my upcoming other shared world.
Mhm.
And then, oh gosh, that one's gonna be hilarious. I gotta tell you, she's okay. Side note, other book. She's 4.5 feet tall. She's a fennec fox, which you know are only so big, and their ears are half their body, and they're full of energy. And so she's 4.5 feet, and she's addicted to sugar and energy drinks.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
she's a fun one.
So she finds her mate, who is a fae, who is by the books, very professional, stand-up kind of guy who lives up to everybody's expectations. And he takes one look at the back seat full of energy drinks that she's got and literally walks away because he doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, she would be
Anyway,
very
that's really
hyper,
funny.
Mary.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. But yeah, sidetracked. I'm trying to make her, and I want to try a wolf pattern because I do have some wolves, and I've started a dragon, but it's cursed, so I'm giving it up. Every time I start on it, something goes wrong. But yeah, no, I do have plans to work on other things book related. One of my key branding factors is hot chocolate in my books.
Mhm.
And so I've started making some little hot chocolate coasters to hand out at book signings.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cute.
So
I like that idea. Um, quick note, I did notice in this book, in other books that the two of you have written separately, your characters are either always hungry or they always have to pee. And that was not the case in this particular book. I kept waiting for for Henley to have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, and that was not the case this time.
no, I think that's more of a Mel trait, and I think I kind of did.
Yours is going to the bathroom and mine's eating, I think.
No.
You're okay. Your
Oh yes,
Coda is always
having to
peeing.
Yes,
pee.
she's always got to pee.
I mean, she
At
got
the
attacked
worst.
by a ghoul because she had to pee.
She always had to pee at the wrong spot. Yep. I remember now. I just remember one of Mel's books. She had to go to the bathroom and caused an awkward position. So I guess we both
What
got
Yeah.
book was that?
She headless.
Yes, that
Oh,
headless book that was in that collection.
yes, I
Yes,
forgot about
she
that.
had to go
Oh,
to the
that was
bathroom in there
awesome.
too. Yes.
I love that part.
So yeah, there was no peeing in this one.
Yeah, there were no awkward bathroom breaks. People weren't always hungry and eating. So yeah, I gotta say I
Okay,
kind of
so
missed out a little bit.
the couple times they were eating in this one, I loved it. Like when Alex was eating that one time, like
Oh yeah.
we loved writing that scene when she got all snarky in her little dress and stuff.
Oh, yes.
yeah. Nope. But I tell you, every time we mention steak in here, I'm like, I want a steak. Where's a steakhouse in this city?
I know. Oh my god.
But I mean, it's not like they were eating. They were eating because it was food and it fit with the plot. It wasn't just thrown in there randomly. They weren't hungry. But yeah, no, there was no.
There was no, yeah, there wasn't really our signature things. We're not in there.
It's probably a good thing.
Kind of changed
See,
it
I'm
up a
not the
little
only
bit.
one that picks up on the little signature things that you guys have. Mary's right there with me. She's aware. If you guys
Whoops.
have any last minute questions that you want to pop in over to the comments over there and get in for Heather or for Melanie, go ahead and get those in. Again, if you also look in the comments, I have posted a link to my blog. You guys can head over there and you will get, of course, the information on Dark of Night. You will also get the pre-order link for September 29th. And you will also get the bio for each lady, as well as their stalker links for Facebook and their Amazon pages, so that you can hop on there and check out some of their other amazing works. If you like YA, I highly recommend that you check out the fairy tale retellings that Melanie did. If you like paranormal, what is it? The First Blood series? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The First Blood series by Heather Karn. Check that one out. That was a good one, and there's a lot of peeing in that one.
Yeah, that's my thing.
And then there's Raven, and
Yes.
love me some Raven.
Swoon-worthy Raven. Actually, that was the first series from Heather that I've read. So that was kind of my introduction, and I really enjoyed that series. And I've got to get on my Kindle and pull you up in my I have Kindle Unlimited, so I can get in there and get some more of your books read. I've been bogged down beta reading and doing arcs for a publishing house, so I've kind of been trying to fit stuff in as I go and just haven't somebody angered the dog. Just hadn't gotten a lot of reading outside of that stuff done. So definitely need to get back in there and get more books read. And anybody who follows along and has heard us talk about those books in the past know that that is, yes, Melanie's heartthrob.
I know.
Yeah.
She claimed Gabe, so
I did.
eventually when we talk about him, Heather's gonna have drool everywhere, and yeah.
I want to tell you. I know. I said something like, "Gabe's a cookie, and I licked him."
Oh my gosh.
She's like, if Gabe was a cookie, I'd lick him and claim him. Like, okay, Heather.
That is perfect. That is perfect. Oh my gosh.
She's the one who coined the line, he's arrogant and inappropriate.
I
So,
did.
anyway,
I did.
yes.
But I just want to say too, if you haven't read anything from us before, Dark of the Night is the perfect book to start because it's both of us and not just like co-writing, but it's both of our ideas and everything. It's
And
we
again,
also
it
think
comes
it's the
across
best thing we've ever written.
seamlessly as one voice. That's what I like about it. You couldn't tell who wrote what, and I really liked that about it. I expected, and I don't say this in a negative way, but I expected when I read it to be able to tell more of a difference between the two of you. But I have to say, Melanie has really stepped up her game lately in the saucy, sexy
She feels so
department.
too.
So
I found actually that I really like it and stuff, and I like it because we like to keep our brands are on the cleaner side and stuff for those who prefer to read that and stuff, because sometimes it can be difficult to find and stuff, but I found that I like to read kind of like the hotter stuff and things, but I still want it clean, and so I figured I might as well write the darn stuff.
absolutely.
So
when
when
I read the first book in Gabe's series, I think that was like the main focus of my review was, hello, saucy Melanie, where have you been hiding this? I mean,
I know.
Oh my gosh, it
was shocking. And I'm sitting and this like, I had to keep hiding my computer because I was at my in-laws at their kitchen table, and I'm just like,
so dirty, so very dirty.
It's like, so like, I mean, my mother-in-law reads historical fiction, and so I'm just like, this isn't her. So I'm just like, turn the computer. Whatever. It was
Well,
new for me.
I have certainly enjoyed having the two of you on here. I knew it was going to be a fun and fantastic night having you both on here. Let's see. Oh, we had one more comment come in. Mary's husband actually asked if she was sure that was your book, because she always discusses the books with him, and like me, it sounded. I mean, I didn't question that you had written it, but I was just like, oh, where did this Melanie come from?
I know. I tell you, like, I had to stop writing the third one so I could get these other, like the diner and the other shared world ones and stuff done. And I'm just like, I'm not ready to stop. Like, there are, it's this. I know it's not an interview about that series, but that series is like going to be like sets of 3 released individually and stuff, and then boxed and stuff. And I got to the end of that 3, and that like plot arc pretty much closed, leaving room for the next plot arc and stuff. I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not. So this one it took over where Gabe kind of left off, and I think if I'd written this one first with Heather, I'm not sure it would have had as much of that angst and stuff that like it had after I had written Gabe and stuff. Like, Gabe was like an eye-opening thing for me. Like, it was one of the last things I wrote before having my moving meltdown and stuff, and I couldn't like get anything done and stuff. And so I was just like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Blah, 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 blah. Don't mind me.
We just sit here and
we will
listen.
definitely have to look at the calendar and have you come back on and talk about that series. I know as soon as you said, oh, I'm going to do a paperback, I said, put me down, send me an invoice. I want one now. I loved it. I really did. But again, thank both of you for being on here. I appreciate it so much, and I had so much fun. I jotted down everybody's name who popped in tonight and made little star notes, who commented more than others, that sort of thing, so I can pass that along to you guys. So you can go back and pick your winner. So guys, make sure you be on the lookout for an announcement. So follow both Melanie and Heather. Sorry, I had a moment. Melanie and Heather on their Facebook pages, which you will find over on my blog at twogirlsandabook.com. Make sure you follow them so that you can see the announcement when it is made as to who is going to win the copy of the arc of this book. And trust me, you will not be disappointed. It was Mary's popping back in. We don't mind at all, Mary. We appreciate you being here and chatting with us. It's always fun to have you. It's fantastic having Crystal and let's see who else was there. Crystal, Brianna, and Kat with her tonight. We appreciate having them with us too. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We have enjoyed it. Again, thank you both for being on here. I had a lovely time chatting with you, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.